Welcome to FCC Supporters Square. For fans, by fans, and about fans. Here are your hosts, Mark Shipman and Matt Foreman.
Gonna let it happen.
Oh boy.
We're all gonna let it happen. Oh, hell is real coming up. Oh, by the way, I said I would have a guest, and I ain't lying.
Ah, well done.
It's
well
taken
done.
me a while to grab some of the top echelon of guests, and he's probably one of them. Adam, say hi to our tens of fans.
Hello, tens of fans.
There you go.
I appreciate you having me on.
I love it, and I appreciate you, and I also appreciate my co-host Mark Suppin, who's been suffering for a while, but we're happy to have you here with us.
Glad to be back, guys. Good to see you, Matt. You're looking young as ever. Just looking forward to this wonderful match coming up. Hell is real, and I've got to say, I bleed orange and blue. Donate your blood before the 25th of this month. Get that done, and let's win at least let's win this. So take care of it.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's going to be a very busy week. Adam, you know hell is real. So raise your hand. The audio podcast, you won't be able to see this. Raise your hand if you're going to Hell is Real on Sunday. Oh, it's just me. Oh, bummer. Well,
I had the opportunity to go.
I'm loud enough for everybody.
Yeah, I typically go when it's in Columbus, but I have some family coming up this weekend, so it would have made Sunday a little bit rough. If it was a Saturday, I probably wouldn't have had them up this weekend. So I would have gone to the game, but because we had that scheduled, it's would make it tough on a Sunday night going down there. But yeah, we'll see.
And Mark, not so much.
No, won't be able to. I already made some commitment a long while back, so got to keep that commitment. I'll be from wherever I will be that Saturday night. So.
Sunday, yes. Not only day, I got the
Sunday night.
Yeah, I got the party bus, so which is nice. They had 2 locations downtown and in Mason. So I'm going to the Mason location because that's close to my lovely abode. So a good time will be had by all, followed by Wednesday. Some guy named, why is this a joke? Messi? He's Messi? I don't know who he is.
Can we talk about him anymore?
I do not want to talk about it, but I've got a great anecdote that's perfect for this. There was a guy about the same height, kind of short, dark hair with that kind of scraggly beard. And I said, "Oh, you look like Messi." And he goes, "What's that?" I said, he's a kind of a important soccer guy. He goes, "Never heard of him." And just walked off. And I went, "There you go."
One of the 10 humans on earth.
Like, you could be a dead ringer for Messi and he could care less. He didn't even know who the guy was.
Body double. He's missing out.
Yeah, there you go.
You went and crawled back under his rock. So
indeed.
So I've talked about this a little bit. I'm sure you have. So Adam, tell everybody what you do, not during the day, but on your other off hours. You have something that you do as well of competition.
Oh, you're talking about that little podcast? No.
Yeah.
I am lucky enough to be associated with You Ain't Lying, along with Stephen Buckridge and Nathan Hale, Travis Grimes from time to time, and of course my partner in crime, Adam Kuhn. Adam and I do grade A after all of the MLS matches. We did not do Leagues Cup, and we typically do, and we don't do the Open Cup. We do all the MLS League match sort of recaps. Adam rates them, and I just kind of play quarterback, I suppose. And then every once in a blue moon, we'll get everyone together and do a big show. And it's I enjoy doing it because the podcast is from a fan's perspective. You know, we have whatever information we can glean, but really it's the kind of conversations you would have if you were sitting in the stands, right? Or standing, I suppose, standing in the stands and talking about this team and some of the things that are going on with it. So, and it's become a lot more enjoyable this year and the tail end of last year than it was, we'll say, all of the years before.
I would agree with all of that. So yeah, so for people who turn in, they know us, but we're about fans. We're about the fans who are fans.
Right.
We're fans of fans. That's we're meta, I guess. I don't know.
I like it. I like it.
But but we're gonna have some fun here. So hell is real. We've Cups was over. We talked about that. I liked how it ended. We were the better team. We just didn't put the ball in the back of the net. We lose in PKs, which is fine. Nashville might lose to that other guy from Miami or whatever, and I could care less because now we've had 2 weeks. This team, the last 3 or 4 games before a break, were like running on fumes. They were playing hard with lots of heart, but my goodness, they needed a break. Now they've got it. They've got 2 weeks. How do they look come Sunday?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, Matt, because, do you want a team that maybe had gone a little further in Leagues Cup and kind of can continue to play games like a Miami or a Nashville? Or would you rather have the time off? Now, the interesting thing is with that, they were able to get Santi Arias his green card, right? Or whatever he needed, extend his visa, I suppose is what it was. So they took advantage of the break to do that. He didn't play in any of the games. I thought that was good timing by the front office. You've got Bupenza, who now has a couple of weeks to kind of integrate with the team. A very mysterious knock potentially for Yerson Mosquera, which kind of clouds the Columbus game. And I don't think the Miami game. I think there's a little planning by Pat Noonan in that. But, to your point, the team can get healthy. The team kind of had the chance to decompress, get out, you get away for a little bit, and then come back and get right to it. So I don't expect that they're going to miss a beat having had that time off, just because of the kind of coaching staff that we have. And honestly, the players that we have, I think they're bought in. I think they understand the opportunity that's in front of them, both in league and Open Cup. And I expect us to hit the ground running come Sunday night.
Mark? Yeah, hot streak that we cooled off. Is it good that we had a break? What do you think? What's your bad take?
Of course, my bad take was I wanted to win not 1, not 2, not 3, but all 4 available cups and titles. I wanted it all, but
we call that the Barrial, right? The quad.
Oh yeah,
nice.
That's what we wanted.
Cool. That's cool. But woke up the next morning, maybe had a little coffee, and then thought, this is perfect. This is what we needed. I was even getting a little winded doing the Wednesday, Saturday, the 2 a week. It really reminded me of 2017, where I would show up to Nippert just dragging and like can't keep this up. I don't know how the players are doing it. I can't do it. So it kind of was getting that way. But yeah, this was the break we needed. Get the guys healthy. Obviously, Mosquera is going to be a hole that we need to fill because we're running into Cucho, who is ready to roll.
And no Miazga as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no doubt. Oh, that's right, of course. And so we need all hands on deck in the defense. But hopefully this time off has been fruitful, and we're ready to roll.
I'm curious from both of you, would you rather win Sunday or win Wednesday if you could choose one?
Definitely Sunday. I could care less at this point because it's seemingly Messi's just running through people. They're just doing what they want right now.
But you wouldn't want to be.
No, Wednesday. That's it. Wednesday. I love Hellas Rio, and I love beating that team up north. I don't want to talk about them. I don't even want to download the app so I can get their tickets. I'll find them. But the one thing we missed, we were 20 minutes away from an Open Cup final. We had to pull out some people who were exhausted and literally throwing up on the field that day, and we ended up losing. And that was such a gut punch for what a lovely season that was. I don't want to feel like Don Garber has screwed us out of a cup because he allowed not just Messi, but the whole Barca gang to show up and ruin the party because of some stupid narrative, right?
It's funny that you say that, because my son Jake, who I go to all the games with, we were talking about that, because we're like, okay, which would you rather win, or if you had to pick one result, which would it be? And he's like, I'm really kind of pissed about, like, it kind of feels like if we lose this Open Cup game, like we have no business losing to Miami as we knew them when this game was originally scheduled. Right. And it sucks that we're 2 games from a trophy, which is why I think Wednesday is more important. And I think the club does too, because you're 2 games from your first trophy as opposed to 11 in league. But at the same time, like, to have that sort of snatched away from you would suck. But the opportunity is there to be the one that beats this team. So I am a big Miami fan in the Leagues Cup final, because I also believe once they hoist that first trophy, hopefully they get off the gas a little bit. They may even rest. Those guys have played a lot in Leagues Cup since coming over. And that's a decent turn for them. It's going to be Saturday, Wednesday. For us, it's Sunday, Wednesday. I think, Leagues Cup Saturday night, right? Yeah. So maybe it starts to catch up with the old guys a little bit, or maybe they look at this and say, well, it's not as important because we've already gotten this trophy. Or maybe Messi says, look, I want all the hardware. So, but it's an opportunity. I think Wednesday is a huge opportunity. If I had to take one over the other, I would take Wednesday. And I hate Columbus. Like, can we cuss here?
No.
Fair enough. I don't like Columbus.
Put in your favorite word in your head. He just said it to you.
Fair enough.
We try not to.
It's okay. It was more of a joke than anything. But yes, it's like, I want nothing more than to go in there Sunday night and walk out probably 4-2 winners, because it's not like the defenses, especially us without Miazga and potentially Mascara, will be interesting. And I know, Columbus has a leaky defense, so this isn't going to be a 1-0 game, but I would love to walk out of there 4-3, 4-2, something like that with a win. Heck yeah. That would be like, here we go for the stretch run. But I can also see, okay, let's just try and get a point out of there. If we lose, we lose. Well, brush it off. Like, the focus, I think, since they have gotten knocked out of Leagues Cup has been, how do we beat this Miami team?
That's where I'm at. I don't want to lose either of them. I want to see 3 backflips in Columbus. I already have to travel 100 miles to the north where I don't want to go. Look at a grayscale tifo of some Goosebumps book that nobody really cares about. And
I love the
shade. There in
shade.
front of 16,000 fans who mostly sit on their hands until we yell at them.
I love it.
Right? I want to at least come home with what's at least 1 point, but 3 points for sure, because we have never won in that stupid place.
We should have won a couple of times, but we never have.
Oh, I was in line of sight where our previous keeper before Celentano, like, hit it right at him, and he's like, "Oh, what's that?" And he let it go, and then 2 minutes later, the exact same shot, the exact same angle, and he still couldn't figure it out.
Yeah. Good thing is this isn't your dad. This isn't your dad's FCC. So we've grown up a little bit since then.
Yeah, I think we have some fight, and we have enough offensive power. So real quickly, no Zalarian and Diego Rossi. How does that work?
I think Diego Rossi will probably be in the squad. Everything that I've seen points to him. I don't know that he'll start, but he'll definitely be available. The Zellerion stuff's interesting because they seem to do okay. At least they were in Leagues Cup, right? In his absence, he was their creator, but now I think they've moved Cucho Hernandez into that role, kind of giving him a little bit more free reign to roam around. I mean, they have ballers. And I said on You Ain't Lying, when we did our season preview, we talked about like who the biggest offseason signings were for teams. And my choice was Wilfred Nancy for Columbus, because I think he is a phenomenal coach. I love what he did in Montreal, the style of play that he has. It's taken him the better part of 2/3 of a season to kind of get it all together. But don't kid yourself. They let Zellerion go. Like, they didn't have to make that deal. And they chose Diego Rossi over Zellerion in the end, which, time will tell if that was the right thing for them. But based on the style that he likes to play, like, they're dangerous offensive. It's just whether or not offensively, it's just whether or not we're going to be able to stand up to it. And, you know, it's a tough environment to play in. It always is. And I think for a while they were maybe in our heads, but I think that Noonan has gotten that over that mental hump with this team.
Scared them away. So does not having a couple of their coaches on the bench affect them? I don't think it does. Mark?
No, this team will be ready for us. This is, you know, when we talked about, and Adam, your take's perfect, you know, for that Miami victory. But for all the things that we were going for, the crown jewel is Supporter Shield. We are number one right now in Supporter Shield. That is the biggest goal. That is what I want to maintain. And that's why, to me, the hell is real. We want that 3 points. We want to continue that run. And let's, you know, we couldn't start off any better with a victory up in Columbus. So,
I mean, if we think for a minute in Cincinnati fashion that the end of this season isn't going to be tight, we're fooling ourselves. The good thing is we can't fall out of first place regardless of what happens on Sunday. Now,
right.
I love an 8-point lead, an 11-point lead. I'd feel a heck of a lot better. Yeah. I'd feel better with a 14-point lead. But, you know, so if for whatever reason we lose and New England, you know, gets a result and now it's 5 points, you know, it starts to get a little bit tighter for us, but we're still in the pole position. We've given ourselves that Noonan and this team have given themselves the latitude to have a little bit of wiggle room, I guess. And, you know, the other teams have to play too. Right. So, and we've seen, especially before this break, like these teams at the top, we did not look good coming into this break. I want to say I could pull it up, but I forget what our results were coming in. They weren't great. Right. We were getting these ties, dropping points, but we weren't losing anything on our lead because everybody else was spitting the bit too. So, you know, it worked out for us, but I think, you know, getting that first 6 points out of the break will be really important for this team just to establish, you know, because each week is another check off that, and then it's 10, and then it's 9, and then it's 8. So it's going to be nervy, but I still think that Wednesday is the game.
For sure.
But I appreciate, Mark, what you said, because if I could choose anything, I'd take the Supporter Shield, not Open Cup notwithstanding, because of it being against Messi. But like league wise, if you talk about the Cup or the Shield, I'll take the Shield every day of the week because it's harder to do.
For sure. One more point just on momentum. We saw, you know, we've kept that lead even though teams have faltered as we got to the break. But one team that didn't falter was Nashville, and they're showing exactly why they're in the finals. They just go and go and go. It might have looked like Monterey had the upper hand, but all it took was a quick transition many times to just flip that, and they ended up with a 2-0 victory. Nashville's for real. I don't know what it was, but after we beat them down in Geodis, they went on some kind of crazy streak of you know, not losing for a long time. I don't know if that's still the case, but you know, Nashville's for real, and we've got to just be watching for them.
I'm going to say this before moving on. Because we got to talk to our guest about how he became here. We're having such a good time talking just this upcoming stuff. A shout out to my wife. On Wednesday is her birthday. I happened to buy her open cut tickets. And so happy birthday, surprise. I think she already
hope you got those through the season ticket sale and not
yes,
the
I
open
did.
market.
I got those before they were $12.50 a pop or whatever the heck they are.
Crazy.
But I think the book on FC Cincinnati over the last 4 or 5 games was park the bus, just put 11 back. We're not creative enough to break them down. Even though we did not win that game, I think if we went to the extra time instead of straight to PKs, we score. But we even had, I mean, Vasquez misses a sitter. Bupenza misses, I think, an easy volley. Those things happen. But the key part to take away from that was they played 5 in the back, and we still broke them down and had not half chances, but real chances.
Right.
So that's what people have been doing. Park the bus, and they won't beat us. I think we're beginning to show that we can beat you when you do that. So with that, let's do what we normally do when we have a great guest. Adam, so how did you become into FC Cincinnati and how did you get to where we are now?
Um, I'm hoping that my story is fairly similar to most other people from Cincinnati. I think growing up as a soccer player, somebody that played the game, somebody, I coached a little bit for a couple of clubs, and just being a fan of the sport. I always wanted there to be something, I always wanted an MLS team. I originally, I grew up in Cincinnati. I lived outside of Columbus. Well, I've lived outside of Columbus since 2005. I never was really a Crew fan. I would watch MLS every once in a while, this, that, and the other. And then when the ML or the USL team for Cincinnati came around, I was like, ooh, like, okay, cool. Like we finally have something. Now, at that point in time, I didn't really have the opportunity to get really involved with the club from a fan perspective, just because of the geography of it and what was going on. I owned a business at the time, and it just wasn't conducive to going back and forth for games, this, that, and the other. Eventually I, started paying more attention, was watching. We'd go down every once in a while, go to some games at Nippert. Like I loved it. And I was like, cool, this team is great. And we always knew when it started, like MLS was the goal. Right. So it eventually got to the point where I'm like, you know what? I think I want to get season tickets. As a couple of years went by, I'm like, I can make this work, even if we only get to half the games. And I'll tell you, Matt, the biggest reason was because, like, here's the thing. And I think this is very rare in sports, and for you and for Mark and for anyone watching this, the one thing that can never be taken away from all of us as fans is we were there from the beginning. And, you can grow up a Reds fan, you can grow up a Bengals fan, you can be a fan of the University of Cincinnati if you went there, but you weren't there in the beginning. Like you're just carrying on a legacy. What's really unique and special, and we'll kind of move it into MLS terms, right? So we've been there since day one. So, not that, yeah, the fans definitely help build this club, but from an emotional attachment, the fact that my son and my daughter, who typically go to games, my wife doesn't love standing. She loves FCC. She just doesn't like standing in the Bailey. They now, this club will be part of their fabric, and hopefully then their kids' fabrics. And when you talk about what goes on maybe over in European countries and the connection that those people have with those clubs, it's because those generations were there in the beginning, or those generations, God, the pro rel people are going to be on me, but they watched the team ascend. Right. And I think for us as FCC fans, that is what bonds us, is that no one can ever take away that we sat through all of those spoon seasons. No one can take away we sat through watching Caleb Stanko actually play on an MLS soccer field, and everything that goes with that, right? Like that emotional attachment, it's different. It's different when you're there from the beginning. You didn't just show up 10 or 12 years in, and that I think is what was super attractive about it, is like that passion and that connection. You feel that your family feels that, and they become part of, we kind of get that feeling of what it would have been like, or what it would be like for those people whose families have had a connection to whatever club in whatever country over in Europe. And I think that's what's been probably what makes it more special than anything else. It's why I didn't care when we were losing, because we were still there and we were still part of it.
Wow. I mean, that's just, I never even thought of it that way, of starting a tradition. It's like, I don't like to use I'm a day one guy, because that seems kind of pretentious, but what your point is 100% how I think,
Yeah.
I think we all feel. It's like, I never even thought of it as we're building something we're at the ground floor building something for the future. I'm just happy to have my city
Yeah.
have a I'll say I've said this before, but it was the USA Mexico. I show up to Tico Stadium for the USA Mexico, and typically I know 20, 30 people. I know a lot of people, a lot of people know me.
You're recognizable, my friend.
Very much.
I saw you walking randomly in downtown Cincinnati one night.
Exactly. And you're like, where you go without a cape? That's right. So I'm showing up at Tico Stadium, and there's like I don't know, 5,000-6,000 people hanging out trying to buy merch and stuff. I didn't know anybody. They were from everywhere else. And at first I was like, well, this is weird. And then I went, well, this is a world game, or in this case, a full USA game. And we're just happy to be host. And now I'm like, all right, I'm the guy who had to clean up the bedroom to put all the coats in, because that's where everybody was coming to have a good time.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's
good. So how
it is.
I'm running out of time, and I gotta get to you.
I'm sorry,
How
I
did
talk
you
a lot.
come up with? How did you become involved with U8 Lion? Did you start it? Did you?
No. So this is a funny. I don't know if it's funny, but I forced my way in, I guess, essentially. So I started following them, their Patreon and everything pretty much when they first started, because at that point, you're consuming everything FCC, the minute MLS and, different outfits and stuff were taking off, and there's content, and you just want to, again, you're trying to get in, you're trying to kind of get a feel and feel that part of that fabric and stuff. So, I listened to them a lot, and then started on Twitter, just messaging, responding to stuff. And that just kind of led to, I don't know, you kind of just develop relationships with people online. And then at one point they were meeting to go to dinner down in Cincinnati, and they said, anybody that wants to come can come. And so then I messaged him. I'm like, are you serious? Like, cause you couldn't, they might've been joking or whatever. And no, they're like, look, if you want to show up, you can show up. Absolutely. So I did. And I had dinner with, Travis, Steve, Nate, and we were just talking, and they were more talking to me about like, oh, what do you like about it? This, that, and the other. And then ended up, as a result of that, talking to Nate and saying, where do you stand or whatever. So then we started standing together in the Bailey. And then, I don't know, just through being next to him and talking to him. And one night I was like, you've got to have me on. We were talking about something, and I was obviously passionate about it or something. I was trying to make a point. I don't know if I did, but I'm like, seriously, man, you got to have me on. And I remember he was walking out, and I'm like, you got to have me on. And he's like, okay. And like a week later, he's like, all right, you want to come on? I'm like, are you serious? It's like, yeah. And then ever since then, that's it. Like, and again, that's the cool part about it, right? It's fan led. We're somewhat like-minded, but we also kind of have different things that we're passionate about. We don't always agree, but the one thing we love is the club. So it's been a great fit, and yeah, and it's just kind of morphed from there. So it's been amazing. Like, I think they give me a chance to, talk BS about the club. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, that's how Mark got on.
You just showed up one night and said, who's this guy?
He just showed up at a bar, and we had drinks, and like, oh, okay, no.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how that works. I mean, I think that's Josh. I mean, we're trying to just interview fans and get fan perspective. And Josh Wilson made some really good predictions. He goes, I want to be on your show. And we're like, yeah, but you were on our show. He goes, but I really want to be on your show. And I'm like, well, if you're going to give us free beer, why not? So
that's the key to my heart right there.
So yeah. So if you offer free beer, we'll come on your show.
100%. Yeah. So I think, and Matt, I think that's the best things are like that. They're organic. Like, I'm not going to throw shade, but like, we weren't handpicked, right? You're doing something because you love doing it. You're doing something because you love the club, and you want to just get a sense of like with this show, it's about fans and what makes them fans and what makes them unique as fans. And that's cool, because then you learn more about the culture of this club. And again, going back to that whole, like, being part of the fabric of it, it just means more. Right. And it's fun. And that's the key, though, is it's fun. So, it gives us something to talk about, something to do, and it's a common bond that we all have.
There you go. I mean, how can you sum it up? He's put way more thought into this stuff than we did, even coming up with the podcast.
I'm just talking off the top of my head. I feel like we should
almost shut down, because he seems like he knows everything. We're just a couple of goofballs who like to drink beer and talk about FC Cincinnati.
Those are the best people. Those are the people that I want to hang out with, right? Because that's what we are.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, look at Mark.
Oh no, don't. Just don't.
Yeah. So I mean, I've got a real quick anecdote. I'm going to the Miami game in Miami in October. So here's the story. I'm going on vacation like the weekend before, so that the Saturday before. So I'm going to Saturday before. We were going to fly back that Saturday, and my wife goes, "Does FC Cincinnati have a road game?" And I said, "Yes, they do." And she goes, "Well, where is it?" And I said, "Miami," and we're in Florida. So she goes, "You want to go to the game?" And I went, "Yeah,
She's a keeper,
sure."
bro. She is
Yeah.
a keeper.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. And so we changed our flight plans from flying out of Orlando, from flying to Orlando to Miami, and then flying out the next morning kind of early out of Miami. And then the next day or 2 days later, Messi is announced.
Oh.
And we're like, oh, damn it. So I don't have away tickets, but I will be in Miami one way or another. So
you didn't get the tickets beforehand?
No, because I'm waiting for a way.
I thought you were going to tell me you bought
travel.
I thought you were going to tell me you bought like $13 tickets, man.
Oh man, no, I'm gonna have to. No, I'm waiting for a away section. So I'm hopefully it'll be like me and like 6 other people. Right? They haven't released them away yet. If they
they'll
have
only
them.
charge you $200 instead of $2,000, I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
Adam, the way we're going to find out he went is you see those guitars that he's got behind him.
Yep.
If we don't see him on the podcast after that, we know where the money went to.
I'm headed to the pawn shop and we'll see if I can buy it back. Either that or he's going to come back without a kidney.
That's not happening.
Those are the important ones. I get it. Yeah, that would have been amazing, if you had him beforehand, but I don't know. I'd be scared to sit in that stadium. I just feel like it's always going to fall apart, but not all of us can be blessed with the best soccer specific stadium in North America, but good for us.
It's going to collapse, but I'm going to fall because I'm in the away section. I'm going to be way up high, which means I'm going to fly in a bunch of fluffy pink stuff. I'll be okay. It's like cotton candy. It'll be fun. I'll be following a bat of cotton candy.
Yeah, for sure.
A bat of beer, right? I can drink my way out.
Please.
So any last words? I'm going to start with you, Mark. Any last words on what's coming up or anything else that you'd like to say?
Well, 2 opportunities for victories. I see this team just giving their all. I think the rest is going to be very fruitful, although a quick turnaround for that Wednesday match. I think we're going to be hitting on all cylinders, and it's going to be real telling after Wednesday what this team looks like. And if it's 2 victories, then oh my, we are on our way. So we'll just see what happens. Final Four, we were there in 2017. We will certainly invoke that power that they had back then, even though they didn't advance. We've got the team that can. So I'm looking forward to this wonderful week coming up, and I'm looking for 2 wins and just a wonderful time had by all.
Any quick last thoughts?
Yeah, I think that the 2 common threads for high level athletes are they want to control their own destiny and they want to prove themselves against the best players. And FCC has the opportunity to do that. They control their fate in the Open Cup and for the Supporter Shield. They have the opportunity to prove it against 2 really good teams this week. And that's not to even take away NYCFC, which would be on I believe is the Saturday then after that. So it's going to come fast. It's going to come furious. But the one thing that we have done really well this year is support at TQ and really turn that place into a fortress. We are going to probably have some ups and downs. We are going to have some frustrating times. Like I doubt we win the Shield by 8, meaning I think it's probably going to get closer, but prove me wrong, please. Stay behind the team, stay positive, stay loud, and feed these guys. Because honestly, guys, this team is going to look vastly different next year. Vastly. Some of the guys that we grew up with that grew up in front of us, the Brandon Vasquez, the Alvaro Barrials, maybe an Obi Nobodo, like those players are probably going to be gone. So you're going to see some turnover. This is a a special group and a special time, and we need to relish it and enjoy it because it's not a given. You know, we're not entitled to this, and there's no guarantee that we're ever going to get it again, although I believe we will. But yeah, let's just like, what a fun summer this has been. Let's like finish it off the right way.
Absolutely. I think we're really bumping right up on my free time. I really appreciate Adam, you joining. You brought a level of sophistication that we don't bring, a level of insight that we clearly don't have.
Oh, please.
We're just the comic relief. So I always like to have smart, fun guests with great perspectives. Thank you very much for joining us. Mark, thank you very much for joining us. And thank you, fans. This is episode 22. I never thought we'd even get this far. So it's been enough. It's, as he says, enjoy the ride. We've been enjoying the ride this first season here on FCC Supporter Square, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Prost.